am so excited to be here with the brand new Curio 2. So we are going to unbox this. As you can see, this box is pretty tall. I am 5 feet tall, and this is obviously a big box. So I'm actually going to use a little stool to be a little higher and make things a little bit easier. So if you see me like adjusting height, don't, you know. Anyway, so we're going to get this unboxed. We are going to talk about what is in the box. We are going to do a little bit of comparisons, answer some of your questions specifically around the machine itself, some specs, some dimensions, things like that that you guys ask a lot about before you decide whether you are ready to purchase or not. So, a couple of things before you get this unboxed. There are some things on the box that you should know. So, up here on one of the sides, there's a QR code. That QR code you can use with your phone, and it will take you to more information on the Silhouette Curio. Now, right now, it's taking you to basically a sales page, but if you're scanning this QR code, you already have the machine, so I think that later it will probably send you to something more, set up different things like that. Other thing that you want to take note of is this circle down here on the bottom left side. When you're looking at the machine, it says that the tools are not available with the machine. They are sold separately. So what you will see when we open this is that it comes with an auto blade, the kind that you are used to using with the Cameo 4, and also will be Cameo 5 as well. But it doesn't come with an embossing tool like the original Curio did. So keep that in mind. There are 5 power tools that will eventually be available. They're not at the time of this recording, which is in September 2023, just a week or so after this was announced to be released, and is being sold right now in very, very limited quantities. And there's no bundles or anything because there's no tools to go with it. It's basically just what you get in the box is what you're able to get right now. The other thing that I want to point out is, where was it? One of these sides. Yes, this side here has a whole bunch of information. Now, it looks like more than what it really has because there's a bunch of different languages, but it talks about all of the different things that you can do. So cutting, engraving, embossing, punching, thicker materials, and even more delicate materials. So one question that I keep getting is, can I use this instead of a Cameo? They're really not replaceable machines. They're not interchangeable. This is a 12-inch by 12-inch flatbed. So if you are looking for something that is an all-in-one, while yes, it can cut vinyl, it can cut paper, it can cut HTV, while also being able to engrave, emboss, sketch on thicker materials, you're going to be limited to 12 by 12. So that's where the Cameo is really going to expand for you, because you'll be able to have a much, much longer, length that you can work with. So let's get this thing unboxed. I ordered this, and this is exactly how it came. It didn't come with any other type of outside box. So just so you know, the packing label was directly on here, and this is how it showed up. Now, I will tell you, it has a nice little handle here, which actually makes it easier. This machine is about 25 pounds. So, and I'm going to compare it. I'm going to show you. I pulled out my other Curio so you can see a direct comparison to the size and weight. But you will notice a pretty big difference with that. Okay, so let me tilt this forward for you so you can kind of see how this is all packed. This is a brand new machine. It's not a demo. So this is what it looks like out of the box. So I'm just going to show you what we need to do here. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out carefully. Let's see. Okay, so this is how it looks coming directly out of the box. You've got this pack here, which is going to be the ElectroStatic mat, and we'll get more into that in a minute. You also have a pack up here, and we'll get into that. And then I'm just going to take the styrofoam off so that you can get a better look. Feels like something's in here. Yes, don't miss this. There is a small box. I could feel there was something shaking. So that's in there. It's kind of hidden in that one little pack, so don't miss that. And then of course you've got all this plastic. So it's also sitting in another base of styrofoam. Okay. Pull this back so you can kind of see. We'll get this machine all out. All right. Now, before we do anything else, you're going to notice the size of this. So this is, the machine measures about 25 by 20. It's a flatbed. That is the footprint, okay? So unlike other silhouette machines where you need clearance in the back, you don't need any clearance in the back. This is it. So this base right here needs to fit on the surface where you are working. So just keep that in mind. Okay, now we have this piece of paper, which I'm gonna take off here in a minute. We'll get to that in a second, but let's unpack what's in all of these other smaller packages. Okay, so you have power cord, half the power cord actually. You have an auto blade, as I talked about, and an auto blade adjustment tool. And also that helps, this little piece here helps you to clean the auto blade when you need that. Okay, so you've got those two pieces and a roll of tape. I'll get to more on why you might need tape in a few minutes. So this is the second part of the power cord. Okay, so we'll keep that. There's also directions in here on registering your machine, so you'll want to do that. And we will get to all of that. I'm gonna get you all the way through setup so that you are ready to go. Now, because this machine only comes with the auto blade and because the power tools are not yet available at the time of this recording, it means that out of the box you are going to be limited in what you can do. However, it's a good opportunity for you to learn the machine, the ins and outs of the machine, how ES technology and IPT both work. I have videos and blog posts on both of those things that we just talked about. So I'll link to those in the description, but just so you know. Now, this is the ElectroStatic or ES base, okay? This is a protective cover. It is not trash, so make sure you keep it. So the ElectroStatic mat, both for the Curio 2, the Portrait 4, and the Cameo 5 and Pro, is two parts. It's the mat itself, or the base itself, and then it is this protective sheet that is basically a thick piece of plastic or vinyl, if you will. All right, so this sheet goes over top. This is a replaceable or consumable part, okay? This is what's gonna actually protect the ES base from getting damaged itself, because if this gets damaged itself, you are going to have to replace this entire piece. This is supposed to be replaceable and it's not very expensive. This is going to cost you a bit to replace. And I will tell you, for the Cameo 5 version, it's $99. So just keep that in mind. So you want to be careful with that. And we're going to talk about how to use that, best practices, different things like that. Okay, so we have everything all here. Now, I'm going to go through and remove all of the blue tape that we've got. Just be careful. There's some of these like little plastic protective pieces. You want to be careful that you're not yanking anything that, if it has some resistance to it, just be careful and watch how you're doing this. Okay. Now, it's hard to see from the front here, but there's also some pieces in the back that need to be removed. So I'm going to bring you around the back so you can see that. Actually, I'll just turn the whole machine. Okay, so you've got a piece of styrofoam here, protective packing here, and then you've got 4 little butterfly screws that need to come out here. So you're just going to twist them. This is keeping everything in place while it's shipping. And then that's not just going to fall off. You have to also return all 4 of these little white screws. They look like what's on like a lamp. Turn a lamp. You may want to keep all of this stuff. It would be a good idea probably to keep all of this in case you need it. This is under the housing, okay? So just make sure you remove that too. Okay, so let's take a look at the machine itself. So looking at the machine, this is the front over here. On the right side, you've got a power button, you've got a USB import, and you've got another power connection. And then you also have, this is where the Bluetooth, like little dongle is. So if you're having issues with Bluetooth, that's where you would access that. You're usually not going to need to access that, but I did want to point out that that is there. Now, not only is this a power button, but it is also an emergency stop. Okay, and I'm actually seeing that I have a little bit more. Let's see if I can get that out of the way there. Yeah. Okay, so got everything out of the way. Okay, so let's get this thing powered on, all right? Okay, so one thing that you'll notice is that obviously the power cord comes in two parts, so we're gonna power that, we're gonna connect that together. You will probably wanna mark this. This is a little bit different voltage than the other Silhouette machines, the Cameo and even the Curio one. So that's similar to the Alta, how it's just a different type of power. It has this little thingy right here. I don't know what that's called. Okay, the power supply, as I showed you, is over here on the right-hand side. So I'm just gonna plug that in over there, and then I will plug it into the power. Okay, to turn on the machine, you are going to hold down that power button for about 3 seconds. Now, if you click the power button and nothing happens, the machine doesn't react. That's intentional. It's supposed to be that you have to hold the button for 2 to 3 seconds. That is because that power button also acts as doubles as a emergency stop. So you know how before, if you had to pause a job in the middle, it took a little bit for that pause, basically direction to come to the machine itself. This will instantly stop it so that you'll be able to avoid a real disaster, okay? All right, so just keep that in mind. Then let's set up the electrostatic mat. So again, this comes in two pieces, the mat base itself, and then also this clear piece of vinyl or whatever it is. So it's just going to slide in the front like this. It kind of clicks in. Not really clicks, but you'll feel it. And then you have these two small tabs that you need to push in. That's going to lock it in place. Then you have this piece, step 2, that needs to go over top. That's the protective sheet that we talked about. Now, right now it's not staying anywhere. The electrostatic charge is not happening, okay? Because I haven't turned it on yet. So the base gets power from the machine itself when it's on. So then what you want to do is you are going to want to turn on, whoopsie, what's going on here? Let's see. It's trying to connect to Bluetooth. Okay, so then we're going to turn on the electrostatic charge, and this takes a couple minutes to build up. So once it does, you'll see that I won't be able to move this, okay? And then your paper or your thin material, which is what this is really intended for, is going to go on top of that. You can see it's even now a little bit more resistant to me. I can't really shift it as much as I could before. You'll also notice that a cutting mat, a sticky mat, does not come with the Curio 2. That doesn't mean you can't use it. You certainly can. You are supposed to use it with a debris tray, which is a separate attachment, not quite yet available. So again, keep that in mind. All right, this is pretty good here. So then we have the blade. The blade is, as I said, just a regular auto blade. It goes in tool carriage 1, press it all the way down, make sure there is no gap, and then lock it into place to make sure that's all set up. Then we're gonna hop into the software to get the software updated, because you do need, as I mentioned, an updated version of the software to support these new machines. And I will then get you connected by both Bluetooth, and also Bluetooth is just an option. You can also use the USB. I will tell you the USB cord does not come with the machine. However, most people have a junk drawer full of USB chargers, all kinds of stuff, right? Okay, and also the USB not coming with the Curio, while it is kind of like, really, it's not unusual. I just pulled out my $7,000 Roland that requires an Ethernet. It also didn't come with an Ethernet cable, and it doesn't even have a Bluetooth option. So this is not a change that is exclusive to Silhouette. This is kind of an industry-wide change as ports change on computers, the need for adapters, the ability to use Bluetooth. So you can use USB. Again, it's over here on the right-hand side. Snap that in. And depending on the type of computer you're using, if you can't actually directly connect a USB, then you will also need an adapter, which is what I have for my Mac. Okay, let's hop into the software and go from there. Okay, now as I mentioned, we are going to need to update the software. So you can go to silhouetteamerica.com/software, and then what you need is 4.5.735 or higher. Those are going to be the software editions that will support this machine. So just click download and then click the type of computer that you're using. I'm using a Mac 64-bit. So what this is going to do is download the software onto your computer, and then you will be able to follow through the process to install it. Make sure you have any old versions or original versions of Silhouette Studio closed at the time. If you are using a Mac, you can tell it that you want to keep both versions of the software. If you are using a PC, it is going to automatically update the current version that you're using to this version. Once you have the software downloaded and installed, you can then just launch the application, and we will go from there for connecting to the new Curio 2. All right, now once you have the software all updated and ready to go, now you are ready to connect the Curio to your computer. And while we are doing this, I'm just going to connect it both ways with Bluetooth and with the USB, so that no matter what type of connection you eventually want to use, you are ready to go. I am first going to plug in the USB because my guess is there's probably some type of firmware update. So in the software from the send panel, I'm going to go down here to my little machine list. And what I can see is that I now have the Curio 2 available. So you can see that I have the Bluetooth option here, and when I click it, I literally didn't have to do anything. You can see it's telling me connect, and now it's telling me, as I suspected, that there is a firmware update. So again, you can, I believe, do the firmware update without the USB cord, but my suggestion is to make it easiest on yourself and make this as streamlined as possible, as quick as possible. Use a USB. So now just follow the directions. Update. Don't switch off the Curio. So again, it's important to make sure that you have this powered on before you take this next step in the software. So just let it go. It might take a couple of minutes, but let's just be patient so that this all works seamlessly. Okay, now while the firmware was going, I actually was registering my machine at the same time. So you can go to silhouetteamerica.com/register, and then you just make sure you sign into your Silhouette account. If you don't already have one, you'll need to create one, but if you have other Silhouette machines, you'll already have one, and you can sign in. It's the same login and password that you use for your cloud library or other things that you need to access with Silhouette, like if you had to create a ticket. The other thing is, one thing it's going to ask you on there is for your serial number. The serial number is on the back of the machine, right behind the blade carriage. It's a little, I don't know, it's probably 12 or 15 digits. It's a combination of letters and numbers on the back of your machine, so you'll want to enter that. And then it's just going to ask you to continue with the warranty information, and it then goes on to tell you exactly what's included and how to unpack, which obviously we're doing here now. Okay, back in the software, it is now the firmware has been completely, the update has completed. It's telling me now it's ready. It's asking me, a Silhouette Curio 2 has been detected. Would you like it to make it the active device? So yes, right now I do want to make it the active device. Again, it checks again, does the firmware need to be updated, and it'll be fine. And now it's saying ready. So don't be confused. Sometimes that ready and available kind of switch back and forth. They essentially mean the same thing. So let's look at the machine list one more time. And now what you're going to see is that the Curio 2 is available by Bluetooth. It should also be available down here by USB. So I have two different types of connections. I don't have two machines. I have two connections, and both are saying they are available because the Bluetooth is powered on down here, and also my USB cord is connected. So at this point, you are ready to go. Your machine is completely set up. Pretty painless, pretty easy. I will, of course, have more videos on how to use this. We're going to do our first cut with this, and I will get you started so that you know exactly how to get going as quickly as possible. Of course, I also have lots of other videos. I'm also going to do a comparison between this and the original Curio 2 or Curio, because I know a lot of you guys were asking. Quickly before I go, I will just pull that out so you can see just the sheer size difference. I have it right here so that you can see just the size difference. So it's difficult to see probably from this perspective, but this machine is probably 8 or 9 inches wide, very, very light. This is about a 5 or 6 pound machine, okay? This, as I mentioned, much, much larger, 23 pounds. I definitely need 2 hands. Also, the type of base and everything, this carriage or this module whole thing moves, slides back and forth, almost similar to like a laser. It's a flatbed. This one uses that tray. So while the footprint is smaller and storing is smaller, you do have this tray that needs to go in that you need to account for front and back access to that, and also, not access, clearance, because as you can see, it moves back and forth. So even though the footprint is smaller, it does require that, and then it has a stacking system for adjusting the height, where this has an auto adjustment system. Okay, all right, you guys, I will link to an even more direct comparison between the two as well. I will link to more resources below. If you are waiting to get the tools as well, I will link to where you'll be able to find those, along with bundles for those as well. If you just want to get started with your Curio, you can, purchase now. That's what I did. You will just get what's out of the box. In the coming months, we will see the additional accessories, all 5 of those tools. We will see the debris tray. We will see replacement sheets for this. We will see lots of new things coming out. But in the meantime, you are welcome to grab this, get started with it, get familiar with it, and we'll go from there. If you're looking for one-on-one help with anything Silhouette, whether that's the software, any of the machines, if you're looking for help growing your business, all types of different things, any of the machines that I have here at my home office or in my studio, I offer one-on-one help with that, along with exclusive videos on Silhouette You. You are welcome to try it for 7 free days. So check that out as well. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.